Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up and they gon' rise to the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, you grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good afternoon, all. As many of you guys can expect, I am absolutely, utterly exhausted. Give me a second. It looks like it's either my eyes or this is blurry. So I'm wiping you off. Hopefully you guys can see me now. Hi, I'm here. We're going to talk about the Gabby Petito case. It was hot out there. I'm like, my makeup is like half sweated off at this point. My hair's flat. The humidity in Florida sucks. I don't know what to say about it. It just sucks. It sucks. It sucks. That's okay. We survived. We survived. So, lots of stuff. I'm trying to get a video uploaded right now, but it always takes so long because I record in 4G or 4K res on my phone. So I use an app to turn, to resize it down to 720p. But because I came home and used my digital program, it keeps the integrity of the video. So it's taking like a 10-minute video is taking like 30 minutes to upload. So I figured, what the heck, I'm just going to go live. I've been meaning to go live anyways. Anissa wanted me to go live at 5, but I figured we'll still be talking by the time Anissa is off work. And, she can jump into the chat, but right now she's at work. So I just want to say hi to everybody online. Today was hard. I have to tell you guys, being in that courtroom, and if you guys were watching like JS for Justice or WFLA or one of the news organizations that were out there that live streamed this hearing, you guys heard what they said. Now, I just want you guys to think here for a second. They're talking about, their arguments and about dead bodies and things of that nature. And her parents are right there. And I looked over at their parents, because I know that the screen is on the person, the attorney that's speaking. And very rarely, I doubt, I didn't watch myself yet. I haven't had an opportunity. I literally just walked in the door. But, I doubt they panned over to the parents. And you could see their eyes close and their heads hanging down a little bit, and, looking up. And you could almost feel the cringe from them each and every time they said something like that. And it was gut wrenching for me. Many of you guys know I didn't know Gabby Petito. We knew a family member of Gabby's that I actually had here at this house, and Jonathan knew her before I did, and actually brought me in on this early on. We were out there in front of that house. He was there September 17th. Which was my birthday, so I was unavailable. And I had been out there from September 18th past October. And then, of course, we actually, all of our research and everything actually went into November and December. We were still collecting, documentation of the events that happened for Olivia's documentary that she was doing on Gabby Petito. And so it was hard for me to listen to it. Like, I was cringing every time they said it because, attorneys are so far removed and just a matter of fact type people. They're almost emotionless. They don't have the emotions, or, they speak matter of factly. And that was probably the hardest part for me. I know that that's the way they conduct themselves. Because they've got to argue these cases. They can't get emotionally involved in them, and that's part of the process. But it as a person that was out there that has blood, sweat, and tears into this case, since Brian returned home, and obviously her parents, they've known her since she was born and raised her. And for somebody like me to be sitting there cringing and having a hard time hearing those words out of the attorney's mouth, I have to think it was 1,000 times worse for the parents. It was 1,000 times worse for them. And it broke my heart. And they have to go through this every single time they go to that courthouse. They have to relive their daughter being murdered. Every time they have to go to a court hearing. It's heartbreaking. It absolutely, without a doubt, hands down, is one of the most heartbreaking things that I see. And of course, the Laundries, as always, no show, right? They did no show for Gabby when she disappeared, no show for their son when he disappeared, and no show at the court hearings about both of them. Laundrie parents always just no show. No show, no show, no show, dirty laundries. That's who they are. No show, dirty laundries. And if this does proceed to trial, I don't know how much sympathy they're going to get. I really don't. I really don't. I don't see, for the sake of the Petitos and the damage that that family has done to the Petito and Schmidt family, they should just concede and write them the $100,000 check. Seriously, they should just concede and write them the $100,000 check and move on. Why put their family through more than you already put their family through? This morning we talked a lot about this case this morning. We went over the motions that were being argued today at court. And, one of the things that I said, we went over the 4-prong test. And I want to pull that up here because I want to talk about a couple things on that 4-prong test, and it'll be easier for me to do that. Hold on, let me see. There we go. They're still up from this morning, as a matter of fact, which is the outrageousness. So maybe that was too extreme. So there was 2 main points in this case that were argued by the defense as well as the plaintiff in this case. And it was related to the outrageousness of what the Laundrie parents did, and of course, the defense is saying, what they did was normal. There was nothing extra outrageous about it. They didn't, do this. And the crux of the case really centered around the fact that Bertolino made a statement on behalf of the family saying, we hope you are successful in finding Gabby and are reunited with her, giving them false hope that she was still alive when everybody but the parents knew she was dead. And that was outrageous conduct that was alleged by the Petito and Schmidt family against the Laundrie parents because they went on vacation knowing that he brutally murdered their daughter. And so they had a lot of case law related to the outrageousness. But I've got to say, in my humble opinion, I don't know what you never know what the judge is going to rule until you get the ruling. Right? But in my humble opinion, I believe that the Petito's attorney, hands down, did an amazing job. The Luca, the attorney for the defense, did a good job. I think he had an uphill battle. They got outside of the 4 corners of the complaint, which there's so much case law and precedence on record in the 2nd DCA and all the DCAs in Florida that you have to stay within the confines of the 4 corners of the complaint. And they got outside of those 4 corners. So I don't think whenever they had their discussions related to outside of the 4 corners. So basically, what does that 4 corners of the complaint mean? The 4 corners of the complaint basically means that the judge must take that complaint, everything alleged in that complaint, as true for the motion to dismiss. Okay, so they can't, when they're arguing a motion to dismiss, they can't start arguing affirmative defenses in a motion to dismiss because that's going outside of the 4 corners of the motion to dismiss. So all they can do is argue about the technicalities as well as, no cause of action alleged. So if you don't really have a cause of action here, their cause of action is infliction of emotional distress. And so that is their cause of action. But of course, the defense is arguing that there is none. There is none because certain factors that were alleged in that motion to dismiss fail to properly state that cause of action. So that's what they were arguing about. They did get out of the off the 4 corners of the complaint when they started going into affirmative defenses, such as the 5th Amendment issue, such as some other things. The 4-prong test for this. Hold on a second, I got it up here somewhere. But there is a 4-prong test. Let me see if I can find it real quick. That must be. You must meet all this criteria in order to have the proper cause of action related to infliction of emotional distress. And those are, if it's in this one, I'm not sure if it is. Let me see if I can find it. I may have to go one more back. So it would have been, which one is this one? This is the 26th page. Okay, come off, so that was not it. I think it's this one. I think this one has the 4-prong test in it. Give me just a second. Let me read through it. Here it is. So the 4-prong test, or the 4 elements needed to have a cause of action related to emotional distress, is deliberate or reckless infliction of mental suffering. 2 is outrageous conduct. And you will hear, and if you go back and re-listen, maybe you weren't paying attention to that language at the beginning, but if you go back and listen, the majority of their arguments today were related to this outrageous conduct prong, because you have to have all 4 in order to have a cause of action to bring infliction of emotional distress and sue somebody for it. And so they were attacking one prong of the 4 elements necessary to bring that cause of action. I honestly don't believe that the defense successfully argued that, they argued well. That's not what I'm saying, but I don't think they were able to drive it home, in my opinion, sitting there. Again, I don't know how the judge is going to rule. The judge may dismiss this and grant the dismissal, and they have to start all over again. He may go back. It's going to take him 2 weeks before or up to 2 weeks before he has the order of the court in this matter. And it's because of all this law, all this case law, that attorney or that judge has to digest and make sure that he's ruling in the proper course of his duties. So, nobody wants to have anything overturned. Nobody wants to have anything go to appeals or anything like that. So it sounds like this judge is taking this seriously. And the judge asked very, very great questions. I loved that the judge was being so proactive in really understanding the arguments by the defendants as well as the plaintiffs in this matter. It was great. I thought the whole case was argued well. Attorneys being respectful to one another, which is the standard. A lot of people don't realize, it's not your fictional court cases where people go in there and pound their hands down on the desk, scream to the top of their lungs, and drive their message home. Real court hearings aren't like that. It's having a respectable conversation with the judge. You don't have the plaintiffs or the defendants, interrupting or arguing or getting emotional and stuff. The attorneys handle themselves, and they handle themselves with dignity, respect. And that was shown today in court by the defense counsel as well as the plaintiff's counsel. It was they conducted themselves. The whole case proceedings were conducted really well today, in my opinion. And they argued their standing and their points very well today on both sides. I have to give them that. The defense, to me, just felt a little short. I really think that the plaintiff's attorneys really drove home the message that, because not only that, because the defense was fighting and arguing the outrageous conduct claims so much, it was good to see in closing the plaintiff's attorney, which is representing the Schmidt and Petito family, set up and go through what constitutes outrageous conduct. And I think he hit a home run with that, filling in that 4th prong on this 4-element criteria. He really drove that home, in my opinion. And I really think that this will, and we discussed this, and the other argument was, whether the Fifth Amendment was properly asserted. A lot of people think that the Fifth Amendment applies at any juncture in your life, and it does not. It's a very specific, it's a very deliberate and specific constitutional right you have in criminal cases. And that is the crux of that argument. This was never a criminal case. Brian Laundrie was never charged. Roberta and Christopher were never charged. This was never a criminal type of situation. And they did make a statement. They chose to lie in their statement from their attorney, giving false hope, i.e., causing additional infliction of emotional duress on to the Petito and Schmidt family. And their attorney argued well that it didn't matter whether they were already in distress. Because of the defendant's action, it added insult to injury. And that's where their arguments are staying. So let me see what we got here. So just to say hi to everybody. Hi, Sage, Karen, Michelle, Tia, True Crime, Stony Stone. Nice to see you in here. Be Betty fan. Karen, I already said hi. Amy, Melody, Brenda. Nice to see you guys. Swiss Miss, nice to see you. Barbara, nice to see you. Brenda, if I didn't say it's Juicy Jules, nice to see you. Crystal. Who else do we have? If I missed you guys, I'm sorry. Miss Robin, nice to see you. And Miss Cher. Oh, hi, Miss Cher. I see you in here now. Sounds like a fair judge. Yeah, it did. It did. And it sounded like reasonable attorneys as well. I think they kind of knew what they were both arguing an uphill case. This really is in the judge's hands. I can't really, I wish I could say there was one that just is the winner of this, but I kind of did, because I really believe that the Petito attorney really really had a home run. I really do. He had an uphill battle because the defendant's attorney brought up such strong arguments that it was pretty impressive to watch the arguments and pretty impressive to watch the counter arguments from the plaintiff's side. I still think that the plaintiff's attorney really did a great job in driving home the message that, the Fifth Amendment did not apply here, that they chose to make a statement and they didn't have to, but when they chose to make a statement, they lied about it, causing additional suffering from his clients and giving them false hope. And then, the defense is trying to argue that they don't have the fourth prong of the outrageous conduct. But I think when they went back to the plaintiff's side, he really drove home the message and brought in some great case law to show the low bar for outrageous conduct, which I think propelled that almost into their favor with this motion to dismiss being denied, and this case moving toward trial. And I think that he's going to most likely side with the plaintiffs because of all the circumstances arising in this case. That doesn't mean just because they have enough sufficiency to survive a motion to dismiss that they're going to be successful at trial. What it does mean is that the attorney is going to give them the judge is going to give them an opportunity to plead their case before him and before jurors of their peer. And I think at this point, even the arguments that they were having in court were outside the four corners. What I mean by outside they should not have been having those types of arguments at this stage in the case, but the judge gave them latitude and listened to them. Whether or not that latitude he's going to be able to apply when making his ruling or not will be up for interpretation. But I have a funny feeling once he looks at the case law, once he realizes he's bound by the four corners of that complaint, any of that, those conversations that were, affirmative defense wise and arguing outside the four corners of that complaint, he will have to set aside and not take in consideration for the motion to dismiss order. And judges are familiar with that. They hear a lot of stuff that they have to, even though they hear, they have to unhear for the purposes of applying the law correctly. And I no doubt believe that this judge was very professional and knows what he's doing and has the ability to do that for this case. I'm still very interested in finding out what his ruling will be, but we're going to wait. We're going to wait. And as soon as I have that order in my hot little hands, I promise you, I will take it live to you. As soon as I know about it, we will go live and we will discuss it. But I just found it funny because I was questioning it. And sometimes you question things and you like, well, does this really have bearing? And I just happened to bring up, I don't know if that Fifth Amendment applies. I had no idea that would be argued today in court. I had no idea they would even touch that argument whatsoever. But it seemed relevant to me this morning when we were discussing this case. And it was a pleasant surprise that I'm not off base. A lot of people, talk mad smack about me not being in law and not a graduated college for paralegal studies and me only answering the phones for the lawyers, which obviously is not true. I actually have a brain and understand the law pretty well. They're the ones that don't understand the law well and why they think I'm an idiot because they don't understand it, not because I don't understand it. So, but it was good that the argument that one of the arguments, I didn't even go through the 4-prong test because I thought the outrageous conduct was kind of a given. But apparently it wasn't. That was one of the prongs that they were arguing the most. Anissa, I made sure I waited. I waited. I knew you'd be able to jump on here at 5. So I went ahead and started the live just to let you know, don't beat Bull or Betty up. I was going to wait for you. But nice to see you. If you guys like this, we cover a lot in here. So if you guys could just give me a thumbs up, it's free to say thank you. I had to drive 45 minutes away from the house today and 45 minutes back, plus the 2 hours that it was in the courtroom and with the people. So please give me a thumbs up. I do work hard for you, each and every one of you, to bring you guys relevant information and relevant content. And it appears that my that's right. I got it unplugged. Plug that back in. So I'm going to use my mouse over here. Okay, let's see. Make sure I'm still good on here, and then I want to see if my video has uploaded. I uploaded a video. It's a raw video. I don't really cut these videos too much, and I'm still waiting. I'm still at 42%. So, but is it running yet? Let me see if it's running. Hold on, guys. I would like to show you guys, even if it's, let me go ahead and pull this up. See if it's up. I don't think it is yet. No, it hasn't posted yet. So we're just going to have to sit here and wait just for a little bit for that to post up. But once it posts up, I will bring it back to you guys. I wanted to show you guys the video that we did. And again, it's a raw video, but the reason why I want you guys there is because, we had a lot of media out there, and you would have thought that these press conferences with the attorneys would have had a lot of commentary, people asking a lot of questions, people hollering over each other. There was a time when nobody was asking questions. So I'm piping in, asking questions, driving the conversation. What I do. But my main question is, how do you think the court hearing went, right? How do you think the court hearing went? And how do you think the judge is going to rule, And I asked the defense attorney, do you or your clients have anything to say to the Petito family? Not at this time. Out of all the garbage, out of all the crap, out of everything, seriously, literally out of everything that family has been through, the Laundrie parents still, to this day, can't even say we're sorry what our son did. We are sorry how we treated you. We are sorry that this has happened to you. Nothing. These people, it is just frustrating. Like, how can you be so cold and callous to a family that your son was about to marry into? Thank you, CR. Thank you so much for your love and support. We appreciate it. But how? How can you be so stinking callous? Oh, what's going on? I don't know. Stephanie Michelle, I'm not sure why you're being ignored, Betty. Are the Laundries being charged? They're being charged civilly. The case is closed criminally. That's why they brought the civil suit. Their daughter has not had justice. The Petito family, the Petito and Schmidt family, Gabby Petito, it has yet to have justice for what has happened to her at the hand of the Laundries. Not just Brian Laundrie. The insult to injury by his parents. You know? I'm a little raw when it comes to the Laundrie parents, the dirty Laundries. I think they're despicable people, personally. There's always every case I touch, there's always a despicable person, right? They were the despicable person in that case. Very cold. I mean, cold. Are you kidding me? That pales into comparison to what they were. They were frigid. They are ice. It's very cold. Like they got, I said this from the very beginning, they have ice literally running through their veins. Their hearts are black. They're necrotic. They have no hearts. I know. We have time. It's not October yet. We could. We could. I disagree. I disagree. A motion to dismiss is very limited in what you can do in a motion to dismiss, and I don't think the defense argued well enough to overcome or to get it denied. To get the motion to dismiss granted, rather. I really do believe it's going to make it. It's going to be sufficient. They argued very well. They argued very, very well, both sides. But again, I just think it was the plaintiffs that had the edge. When he, you can explain. You can explain all you, absolutely. But I have a funny feeling in 2 weeks, we're going to find out this is going to start going to trial. Because even then the judge started signaling that these are arguments, for the case to proceed. These are not arguments. He even said that publicly. These are probably not arguments I should be listening to at this stage. That's a signal that there's going to be a stage. And I have dealt with a lot of these. I mean, this is the standard operating procedure. You get a complaint. You always you don't answer, because if you answer, you no longer have the ability to go back and retroactively file a motion to dismiss. You've answered the complaint. So whenever you get the complaint, you have to file the motion to dismiss or answer. They're filing the motion to dismiss, which is delaying the time that they need to answer. But when the order is ordered and it is denied, they are required to answer this complaint within 20 days. They can extend it and work it out with the plaintiff's attorney. So it doesn't, I've had some extended for 30 days, total of 50 days to get an answer on a complaint. So this is not uncommon, but I'm interested in those pretrial, that pretrial discovery. I am super interested in that pretrial discovery. Yes, thank you. Yeah. And we were at Publix. We actually interviewed a young gentleman that was there. I got to go back through all of my Gabby Petito because there's just so much content that's never seen the eyes of the public. And I can guarantee you'll never get this content from mainstream media because they were in front of the house while we were, running all over Northport talking to people. So, this is going to be great. If this case goes in front of a jury, it changed the narrative of everything in the world. If your child hits, okay, no, that's not the argument of the case. This is this case is solely on the emotional infliction of duress and stress. Additional, this has nothing to do with whether they're responsible for the actions of their grown child. This has nothing to do with that. And not only that, but if your child hits and kills a child, you're responsible. If they're under the age of 18, parents are responsible anyways. They're responsible for them financially. So no, but this is you're misunderstanding what this case is about. This case is about the infliction of emotional duress and the 4 prongs that go across with that. This does not have to do with the conduct of their son. This has to do with their conduct, the parents' conduct, not their son. They're not arguing. Yeah. So I understand that's not the argument of the case, but I guarantee you that's the outcome of the case and why the judge wouldn't want to stick their name on it. No, because this is this has nothing to do with Brian's actions. This is 100% of suing the Laundrie parents for their own conduct, not their child's conduct, their own conduct. And I don't think, and again, I kind of felt like the judge was already signaling in that courtroom that he was going to allow them to argue it. It kind of, he was a tough judge. It's kind of hard to determine what he will ultimately decide. But the idea that this has to do with what the child did, if you watched everything I watched, it had nothing to do with the actions of their son and 100% to do with their own actions, including not answering the phone, including the statement from their attorney, Bertolino, including taking a vacation and living their life normally as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, the Petito and Schmidt family are desperately trying to find answers. None of the conduct that they allege today had anything to do with the actions of Brian Laundrie, but rather the actions of what the parents had done after finding out what their son had done to Gabby Petito. And okay, I'm not trying to argue with nobody. I'm just saying, no, I get what you're saying, but I was just trying to explain why I disagree with that statement is because I really just don't see it. Nothing I heard today had anything to do with the actions of Brian Laundrie, but solely in 100% just the actions that his parents took. And, even with the allegations of them trying to help him, and this was kind of funny because, and this is where I think the plaintiff's attorney actually, excelled. Yeah, it is part of it. I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying and where you're going, but the reason why I don't think that is because they made sure they didn't bring him in there, because if they would have brought Brian or Brian's actions in there, yeah, you're right. It probably would be a different kind of hearing, but they didn't. They stuck solely with what the Laundrie parents did, and they kept it to that. So I don't know, and again, Stoney, it's up for interpretation by the judge. I'm curious to find out how he ultimately rules in this case, which we'll know in a couple weeks. And I'm going to set a reminder on my calendar so I don't forget to look it up. But this is where I think the attorney, earned his keep, so to speak. The plaintiff's attorney earned his keep. They were talking about, I lost my train of thought. I'll think of it in just a second. But they were arguing something. It'll pop back in my mind. When it does, I promise you, I'll let you know. I got kind of on a tangent and forgot the direction, but there was something that the plaintiff's attorney did that really kind of drove the message home. And I can't remember what statement I was thinking about, but it wasn't the Fifth Amendment. It was it was related to, I want to say it was related to the outrageousness of it. He went through a bunch of case law, but I lost the thought, so I apologize about that. Let me keep reading through. Just so upsetting that the Laundrie still don't have enough respect for the Gabby and her family to show up. Absolutely, hands down. Hands down. It is absolutely horrific. And I specifically, and you'll see as soon as this is up, the checks are still running, but I think I can still run it. Let me see if I can still run it on the back end. Hold on just a second. I think I can still run it on the back end while it's still checking because I can go through my studio. Let me see if I can run this back here. Okay, I think I can run it back here. So let me go ahead and pull this up. You guys will be the first to see it. Now, remember, this is raw footage. I don't cut anything. Even when I make mistakes, I don't cut. So the Petito and Schmidt family just arrived here. So we're going to pray that they are able to move forward with this case. And I am just going up the stairs after meeting them for the first time. And so we're up here waiting for them. You know, I got ahead of them while they were checking in and waiting for them to come up. There was a lot of media there, but it wasn't as crazy as it was out in front of the Laundrie family. And again, it's sad that, you know, the Laundrie family still does not believe in showing up for anything. And this is at the end of it. I haven't played or listened to what happened inside the courtroom. So, I mean, I was there, but I recorded audio-wise some things, and I'm still working on it. So you'll hear me ask questions here.
Do you want to ask me a question, or do you just want to? I'm sure we have a question.
If you want to,
I'll answer it, but if you want to make a statement.
if you want to do a statement,
Sure.
and then we can ask the questions.
Okay, yeah. Sure, it's Matt, M-A-T-T, Luca, L-U-K-A. Yes. For the Laundries.
He's the defense attorney.
Fine, as far as I can tell, although I know that this is a difficult time for everybody. Both families.
How do you think the proceedings went today?
So, I thought they went as expected. We definitely appreciate the judge's time and his consideration of this case. I know it's important to both families, so we really appreciate his effort. And we just look forward to getting it through. It's typical in a motion to dismiss for clients not to. I don't know.
Do they have anything to say to the Petito family?
Not at this time.
And when did the judge?
Nothing to say to the Petito family at this
So I
time.
really couldn't tell you one way or the other.
How do you think he's going to rule?
Hopefully he rules in our favor, but it's hard to tell.
How do you think the hearing went?
I thought it went fine. The judge was certainly very courteous, and he asked good questions. So, like I said, we really appreciate his consideration.
I had to move Apparently, I was in another cameraman's area and he was late to the game.
Well, I really feel like our strongest argument relates to the outrageous element and also the implication of legal rights.
Yeah, the outrageous elements.
Their First Amendment right, which allows them to speak freely or to not speak at all. The Fifth Amendment privilege, which allows them to not speak in any situation that could potentially incriminate them. There's also the First Amendment right to have an attorney, the Sixth Amendment right to an attorney. The Florida Constitution also affords those same rights. In addition, an express right to privacy, which is also implicated. So there are multiple rights at play.
So the plaintiffs.
I really rather not comment.
So the plaintiffs allege that there was no crime committed at the time to invoke a Fifth Amendment right. How do you feel about that?
We disagree with that. A person's entitled to invoke their Fifth Amendment privilege anytime they feel like they're in jeopardy. So that's our position.
All right, thank you.
That has included the Laundrie that that statement considered whether or not their conduct was outrageous. We disagree with that position.
See, he keeps trying to knock that prong, the element, outrageous element off.
So we'll just await the judge's ruling, and hopefully it's in our favor, and the case will be dismissed. Well, we do believe that there's no basis in the law for this cause of action. So we don't feel like it should go any further than this. All right, thank you all.
So this is me going out with the Petito family, and I said my words to them.
Guys, I just want to tell you that, I was out there for your daughter, and I'm really sorry that all this has happened to you. I really am. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt, just want to express our thanks to Carol for the time you gave us today on the motion. Appreciate the time to take the decision. There's no doubt that we're making the right decision. The family will not be taking any questions, but I'll do my best to answer any questions.
How do you think the court hearing went today?
I was very satisfied and pleased with the question the judge asked, in particular about the statement that Mr. Bertolino made on behalf of the family, because that says a lot. The fact that they knew she was deceased, they knew her body was located, and they had the audacity to express the hope that she would be reunited. As I can tell, they're dealing with the best they can.
She's pointing to a medallion that has Gabby's ashes in it. And I just uploaded this video, but I'll go back and redo it so it enhances the volume. I hear you guys are not hearing it very clear. He doesn't speak that loud.
The defense alleged that they had a Fifth Amendment right, even though there was no criminal allegations. How do you feel about that? I heard you arguing about that in the motion to dismiss.
There has to be an investigation of why the Fifth Amendment applies. I today for the Ruth Cecala documents that committed. Hopefully they'll do that someday, but I don't know what kind they are asserting were committed. It alleged that they were trying to move some money around to fly out of the country, but there was no arrest warrant out for flying. He wasn't a fugitive. But from a law perspective, I don't think that there was anything inappropriate about what they were doing. I think for the Petito relief, but I would like to have that motion based. Like I said, I'd like to question the judge and ask the opposing counsel about the statement just occurred. Judges typically take cases under advisement. There's a lot of research, a lot of cases cited. I'm surprised it's only 2 weeks. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Yep. Sorry. It's going into other stuff. Mike Ruiz right there. That was Mike Ruiz. Oh, and by the way, and why is this doing this? I hate when it does that. Hold on. It was replaying it again. So if you guys need to know, Anissa, that was a photo of your package. It was sent off today, by the way. I'm working on right now with the audio. I have to redo this. I think that was it. Yeah, let me move this up. Let's see if that here. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I wish I could. I don't have time to play with the audio because I need to get this uploaded, but I will make the audio for the the prosecuting attorney, the plaintiff's, not prosecuting, the plaintiff's attorney.
How do you think the court hearing went today?
I was very satisfied and pleased.
Okay, that sounds better. So I will actually go ahead and export this. Hearing. Increased sound is what I will do for that. Increased sound. So once that's done downloading, I will upload it. It's going to be about another half hour. I already had the one, but I guess the audio, I didn't enhance the audio. I have now enhanced the audio. I will be publishing it if you guys would like to hear their responses. But yes, many people don't realize I do go out there and I do ask questions, and I am with the press. Stand over there and everything. Know most of the people that are there from, Channel 7, Channel 8, Channel 10, Channel 13, Channel 9. I've been around here long enough that I know pretty much all of them. I've got many numbers saved in my phones for the media around here. And we were all out there in front of Brian Laundrie's house for weeks together. So we know each other on a personal level. And, somewhat. I haven't talked to him, nor do I go out hanging out with them or anything like that. But we are cordial when we're out on the same cases and stories together. And we run into each other a lot. Like when I was at Stephanie, meeting with Gina for Stephanie Shenafield, rather, they were waiting to speak with her. So, Susiana from Louisiana. I love it. But it was your voice we heard. Yep. Yo, baby Blondie, like, I can only do so much with audio. You realize that, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours cutting it because somebody might have a problem with hearing my voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got to get this stuff out of here. And, if people want to be picky, don't watch. I don't know what to tell you. You either want to hear it or you don't. But, increase this. Don't increase this. Obviously, you need to probably, maybe edit a video, figure out how hard it is to cut, slice, and it doesn't. It's hard. It's hard to explain unless you edit videos. I'm not going to spend 3 hours on it. It's a 10-minute video. If you don't, turn the volume down when my voice comes up. I don't know what to tell you. I speak loud. And not only that, people are saying, well, we can hear you crystal clear, but we can't hear them because they're standing 20 feet away from me. And I'm right here. So of course you should be able to hear my voice a lot louder than their voices. So I don't know what you want from me. You either want to hear them talk and hear me loud, or you don't want to hear them talk and just hear me. I don't know. Take your pick. I'm just picking on you, but it's just funny because you're like, oh, do this, but don't do this. Don't do this. I can't do it. Now, if you would like to edit my video, I'm happy to send it over there to you, and you can work on it and make sure my voice is down and their voice is up if you want. I don't have that much time or patience to do all that. Yeah. It's usually on cell phones because like even my computer, I'm able to increase the volume and I heard it fine. But on my cell phone, however, when I was listening to it, it was hard for me to hear. So maybe the option would be to go on the computer to listen to the video. But, I don't have a microphone up there like channel 8, channel 7. I have a wireless microphone that I need to charge and I need to keep with me, because I could have easily stuck my wireless microphone up there and got a much better audio and may do that moving forward, because this is not going to be the last case with this Petito. And, I really do want to follow this from the beginning to the end. We were there at the beginning and we followed it all the way through and then some. And, here it is, winding down, and definitely want to take this case to the end. I want to follow it until it's finally done. And you guys, and even when this case is done, it will never, this is a life lasting situation for Gabby Petito's parents and friends and extended family. This case is never over for them. This case is never over for them. And it's heartbreaking. It's devastating. I quite frankly don't know how. I don't know how they kept their composure in that courtroom, hearing these things, about their daughter. They were talking about, blunt force trauma and being strangled. Like, you're a parent of a child that these people treated you like pure garbage. And you're in there wanting them to pay for what they did to you and your family. And they first didn't even bother showing up. And then these attorneys, even their attorneys, talking about dead bodies and strangulation. And it took everything. I could not to break down and cry. I don't know how they kept their composure. I really don't. You could see them close their eyes and drop their heads at some points, or look up, just praying for it to be over. I don't know how they kept their composure. I don't know how. But if you guys watched it live, you know what kind of language I'm talking about. Those are the parents of Gabby Petito listening to how their child was killed. And the case law that they were discussing was related to other deceased people. And they were explaining those deceased cases in detail, mind you, and applying them to Gabby's case. And her parents are right there having to listen to it. And their husbands and wives, because Nicole and Joe aren't together. So they had their spouses there in the first row right behind them at this court hearing, right? And they're having to listen to this as well. And it was hard. I have to say, I don't know how they kept their composure. I don't know how, they're strong, but they've been through hell. At this point, a year later, they've went through hell and back. And but they still are fighting for Gabby. And as long as their parents are still fighting for Gabby, Bullhorn Betty's going to continue to fight for Gabby. I'm going to continue to show up at those hearings. It would be a lot easier for me to Zoom call and live stream right from here, but I don't feel like that's supporting Gabby or her family like I can do by being physically present in that courtroom, and that's where I'm going to be. And, you know, I don't, yes, they look broken, rightfully so. It was heartbreaking to watch. Absolutely, Life. Absolutely. Heartbreaking to watch. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open the phone lines up to you guys. I know many of you guys have watched this case from the beginning. You guys have some, I know Stoney had some things he wanted to get off his chest. Stoney, you're more than welcome to call in. And, you know, and I have no problem with opposition. I mean, it makes for healthy debate. Makes for healthy debate. And, you know, if attorneys can go into court and argue a case like this, naturally, us out here just having a conversation, whether we align on viewpoints or not, it still makes for healthy discussion, and we can do it respectfully. So with that being said, we're going to open the phone lines up. Give me just a minute. Anissa, are you already jumping the gun, girl? I don't even have the lines up yet. Let me get the lines open. I'm glad you got to join us. I came early, you came late. It's good, good, good. So let's just turn this on. All right. All right, guys. The phone lines are officially open. If you have any questions, feel free to call in. Let me put my phone number up. Here we go. This is Betty.
Hi, it's Amy from New Jersey again.
Hey, Amy, how are you doing?
I'm all right, a little tired. I'm always tired.
Join the club. I'm exhausted.
No, just thanks for going. What was the venue in actual Sarasota?
It was in Venice. It was the South Sarasota Courthouse, which is in Venice off South Trail.
Okay, you know what really was the ball with them was they wouldn't even show up. Those two, Roberta and Christopher.
But they have never showed up. They never showed up for Gabby. They never showed up for their son, and they never showed up for the hearing.
But you know what? That should speak volumes to. I know, like, I hate legalese, and I call a bunch of mumbo jumbo gobbledygook. You know, when I'm like, that's not my language. Like, I'm a nurse. Like, you know, I can understand that, but no, don't give me this legalese, because I just think it's gobbledygook in my opinion. Just me, because I just think the law is a bunch of garbage with how things are with this case. It was just very confusing to me when I'm listening to this whole situation. But the fact that they didn't show up, I don't know if that means anything, but wouldn't that mean something? Wouldn't that say something to the judge? Wouldn't the judge?
Not necessarily, because sometimes in these, they're so technical, you don't have to show up. I think the reason why I don't see the Petitos not showing up for their daughter, and I think, you know, the Laundries, I mean, yes, it does to me as a human person with feelings, think that that's another slap in the face, an insult to injury. But you know what? In a sense, maybe they did it so they didn't injure the parties anymore, not to see their face, because gosh knows what feelings that would incite. I mean, can you imagine having to be face to face with somebody that you did that to?
Right, but I think it just further cements everything.
Yeah, it does.
It show the history of them. You know, number one, the thing that really I remember was the how they were blocked. Like the family was blocked from, you know, by text, by any kind of phone calls. Their family wasn't even allowed to call her.
Yeah.
To call the Roberta and say, you know, where's my daughter? What's going on? You know, Brian can't, you know, why would you do that? I don't understand. I don't know how that didn't come into play in their behaviors and their damaging behaviors towards the Petitos and Schmidt family. I just don't understand. And I know people are saying that there's not enough proof, that how are they going to prove this case? But I just think there shows a lot of intent in trying to cover up, and that there was no criminal case going on. So how do you apply the Fifth Amendment in taking Bertolino as an attorney? Really shows that they were covering something up. and that the fact that they wouldn't come forward and speak. That's just my opinion, and I have a daughter, and I just think it's terrible, you know, and it may be old-fashioned, but when I see cases like this, to be quite honest with you, I would never want my daughter to move to another part of the country and live out of wedlock with a guy with not knowing the family well enough, though they might have lived in the same town. I just would not feel comfortable letting my child go. And I know they were an adult, but I just think that it just says to me that I would never, ever even support my daughter moving down to another part of the country and living in the family's house.
Yeah.
And with me not knowing what's going on. I just
How did you feel? I mean, one thing I didn't realize is that, you know, I didn't know, because they had only been together for a few years, and I had no idea. You know, of course, you know that she probably went and visited with the parents with Brian, and vice. Obviously, she was living with Brian's parents with him, but I never knew that Gabby's parents and Brian's parents have not only been at each other's homes and spent time with each other and broke bread with each other, but, you know, we didn't know that. So they actually knew each other, hung out with each other, were planning to be in-laws with each other and have that connection. And for them to do this, I don't know, you know, I know the protection of children and parents wanting to protect their children from all the bad, but how do you justify your actions and not be so? I don't know if I could control myself enough to be quiet.
I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I just could not imagine that happening. And these people are soulless and heartless, and they're a bunch of pariahs. And I just don't know how they can go out in public and be seen after what they've done and their behaviors. It's just abnormal, and it's way an outlier, big time.
Yeah.
I've never, you know, that's what I call it. It's like an outlier. It's outside the norm. So I just pray that this judge really decides to press on with this case.
It sounds like the judge is, you know, he's ready to take it on. You know, he's ready to hear the legal arguments. And they just didn't have it wasn't the right place to argue what they were arguing. And they even acknowledged themselves going outside of the four corners of the complaint. And the defense was arguing that, yeah, you can go, you know, he brought one little stick of case law that defies the majority of the case law, and saying that a judge can go out, especially if it's a constitutional matter. But I thought the plaintiff's attorney was very clever in crafting the fact that you apply the Fifth Amendment, you invoke the Fifth Amendment in criminal proceedings. Nobody's been charged in this case. Nobody, there was no warrants for arrest in this case. How can you apply a Fifth Amendment privilege when none of that took place?
Absolutely. Nice talking. I'll let someone else call.
Oh, sure.
Take
Yeah.
care.
You take care too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else? If you guys are curious or have something to say, you know, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Sorry, I'm trying to get the new video uploaded here because the other one that I just spent a half an hour to upload has low volume. So I want to make sure that we have good volume. So I'm uploading a second one, so it's going to be about a half hour before it's ready. If I can get it uploaded. Hold on, we're almost there. But it was nice. I got to say, it was nice seeing Mike Ruiz again. It was really nice seeing him. This is Betty. You can talk. I'm here. You might want to turn down your volume so there's no back feed. Hello.
Okay. Hi, my name is Charlotte. I have a question that I cannot find the answer to. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I remember your discussions that Roberta Laundrie had a law career of sorts. What did she retire from, and what are her legal connections?
So all of their stuff, from what I heard, I was never able to corroborate the information, but we heard while they lived in New York, she worked for some kind, I don't know if it was an attorney or law enforcement, but yes, we did bring that up early on in the case, but I don't recall because it's been almost a year now. I'm not, I don't know, but there was some kind of connection, but it wasn't from here. It was from, it was it was when they lived in New York.
Yes, yes. And that's where her Bertolino or whatever.
Yeah, that's where he's from too. Yeah, they knew him from my understanding. Now, again, I could be wrong. Don't hold me to the fire on this, but I believe that he was actually, I want to say, like a real estate attorney for him, or something strange like that. And everybody used to shake their, scratch their head and wonder, how in the world is this real estate attorney involved in something like this? But apparently, it was somebody that they trusted to advise him, and he was only, filling in for the time being. I don't anticipate him being, if it did become a criminal case or something like that, I don't anticipate him representing him. I think he was more of a service of process type of guy. He was an attorney, but he doesn't have the ability to practice law here in Florida. And I might even be wrong with that because I already had an office in Orlando, but I could never find an office in Orlando for him. So I don't know.
It's going to be real interesting if this moves along, which I believe it will in my heart.
Yeah.
And Bertolino gets put on the stand.
I don't know if they'll be able to put him on the stand, but I know that they could. But in actually deposing him would be quite difficult too, because he does have the attorney-client privilege, and he is an attorney, and he was their attorney. So it's kind of interesting. But one thing I found awfully interesting was the fact that the Petito Schmidt attorney said he would have actually included Bertolino in this civil suit, would have actually included him if he was a Florida resident. That blew my mind.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I live in the county, so I'm one of your neighbors almost. So if this goes to court, I'm going to be there.
Yeah. I might have to make some more shirts, because this one's kind of getting rough. Like it's breaking apart. It's peeling down here, right there. It's all peeling and stuff. It's all broken, and I need to get. Dolly told me what I needed to do, and I forgot what it is. But he says I needed to roll something on this shirt before I put this paper on it, this transfer paper, the heat paper. And it will stay a lot better. But, I didn't know that at the time. I made this for outside their house, and I thought it held up pretty good. But it's not holding up as good as I'd like it to. But I might have to make some more just for those cases, because I want to be there for each and every one. I want to support Gabby Petito and her family, and I want justice for Gabby Petito, which I just feel that poor girl has never got justice, ever.
There. I promise you that. I will be there.
Awesome. I can't wait to meet you. And just keep in contact with me. If you want to send me an email, I'll happily give you my number, and we can stay in contact as this case proceeds.
Sure.
Okay.
Number?
What is it?
This your number that I'm calling?
This is the call-in number. I can get text. Actually, if you want to text me on this, I won't show it online, but if you want to text me on this number, I will get it and respond back to you, but I have a different number I use for regular calls.
My number that I'm calling in on. If you need anything, you just call me and let me know.
Oh, you got it. I guess that would probably be easy because I do see it. Let me type it in.
My name is Charlotte, so I want justice for Gabby. This is just upsetting.
It is.
The gall of them not to show up today.
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It infuriates me to no end that they didn't show up. They couldn't show, like, they have showed no respect to Gabby or her family this entire time. 0 ounce, 0 of respect. Now you got to remember, this was a child that lived in their home that was about to marry their son. 0 respect for her life, her well-being. 0 respect for her parents. 0 respect for their concern. And then they're going through this case and don't even have the kahunas to show up with their attorney.
It's one thing to defend their son. I can fully see that. But another thing to do what they did not do today.
Yeah.
Just it's unforgivable.
It is unforgivable.
Show your face.
Yeah. If you got nothing to hide, quit hiding. If you stand by your actions, stand for them. Stand up. And they didn't. They're cowards. They've always hidden. They've always hidden. Those parents are cowards. Absolute cowards. And you know,
I believe in my heart there's something in her career, something that gives her power or knowledge that most people don't have, and I want to know what it is.
Yeah, I agree. But they're weird. They're weird. People just has been in that house that have spoken to me and said that it's a doomsday house. You know, they're stocked to the gills with food and everything else. I remember being out there and saying, how can these people not even leave to go get water or milk or, you know, food or groceries? I mean, they were in that house for a solid month and never left once. A solid month. I'm thinking not everybody in this world can live inside their home for a solid month without going out for groceries, not one time. They didn't go out for crap.
They hide in a cave somewhere, but they're behind that door. So.
Yep. They forever tarnished Northport in that neighborhood. You know, that neighborhood was a beautiful neighborhood. By their son's actions, I guarantee that neighborhood's values went down quite a bit. But we're in Florida. I'm sure they quickly rebound with our shortage in housing. But still, it's bad. I don't know. I've never respected those parents when they went on vacation to Fort DeSoto while everybody else under the sun was looking for Gabby. I never understood how somebody could be so heartless. If you had a planned vacation and your daughter-in-law disappeared, most people cancel their plans and go out and help search for their daughter-in-law. They don't just say, oh, well, you know, it's not our kid. We have plans. See you later.
The theory on that, the FBI were in and out of their house so often they couldn't talk. They had to take a camper somewhere where they could sit outside with bugs and birds and.
But see, I have a theory on that camper too. I always kept asking, when did they get that camper? Because that camper, it took them a while to get back home, and I have a funny feeling. I have a funny freaking feeling that they got that camper after the 28th. I have a funny feeling that they got that camper when they learned what their son did.
Not as smart as what they're pretending to be.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. We've got their number, but I just, Gabby.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Please call back. So another person with some comments, you know, it's sad. And she hit all the things. Like, why weren't they at this court hearing? And their attorney playing it off like, well, you know, it's normal. They don't have to come. No, they have the choice. They have the choice to go or not go. The choice. They're choosing not to. Just like they chose not to go help find Gabby in the first place. Just like they chose to go on vacation when they had a missing daughter-in-law. Just like they chose to bury themselves in that house instead of going looking for their own son, their own flesh and blood. Didn't know whether he was dead or alive, but let's just stay home. They've done nothing. They're cowards. And they knew. And they have, their attorney did not say they never knew. Their attorney didn't argue that they didn't know or that these elements of this case, what was being alleged in the complaint was untrue. They actually said it was their constitutional right to do the actions that they did. He didn't argue that they did them. Everybody said these people are sweet and, you know, they're kind and who, what? People have ice in their veins. Necrotic heart, black. It's dead. Just dead. Yeah, people that stand behind their actions, stand up and show up. I stand behind my actions. I get beat up on YouTube all the time. Guess what? My face is still back here the next day. I could care less what they think about it. If I felt it's the right thing to do, I stand on it. I stand on it. I show up. You know? I stand on it. Karen Davis, who's a troll? We have trolls in here already? Just kick them out. Is there a Buzz on here? Who's Buzz? It's Betty. How can I help you?
This is your mother.
My mother is making another debut on Bullhorn Betty. Stop the presses! All right, Ma.
I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you. And I remember being glued to JB Buno every day for 4 hours, watching you out in that heat, worrying if you had enough water. And then Brian Enton would publish his reports every night, and I would get that version, and it was just heart-wrenching, completely heart-wrenching that the people they were so uncaring. How could you be that way? How could you hide? The minute they went to Fort DeSoto, I knew they were up to something.
Mm-hmm.
They were up to something.
Planning, crafting, something. Disposing of evidence, we don't know. Something.
But I remember your calls to me like, where does Powerline Road go?
Mm-hmm. Which way does it go? How far? Because that's when we thought he was on foot. We didn't even know he was dead. You know, when we were standing at Powerline Road, we were only 500 yards away from Brian Laundrie.
I rode that property on the back of my grandpa's 1953 Jeep pickup truck.
Wow.
And we threw out hay on that property for Mr. Carlson because they were best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandpa would come over there and help him.
Do you want to tell the audience about how you didn't know your daughter was Bullhorn Betty?
I didn't know who that was until I know JP Buno called you the blonde with the bullhorn, and I'm going, who the hell is Bullhorn Betty?
Mom didn't even know I was a YouTuber or had a YouTube. She didn't even know I was on TikTok. And she's like, she
goes, to get on TikTok, and somebody heisted my account, so I had to. It was like I had to have it closed.
Yeah. Well, just make sure you don't open any photos or anything that weird emails send you, because they'll hack you. But it was crazy. So the story is I was, she kept hearing, she watched Michelle After Dark a lot. And apparently Michelle was not too keen on the Bullhorn Bettiness. And at the time, and she's like, who's this Bullhorn or something? I can't remember, but Mom never told me about it. And then I think I posted one of the first videos on Facebook. My mom calls me and she's like, I just saw something with Bullhorn Betty. Who's Bullhorn Betty? I'm like, Mom, it's me. What do you mean it's you? I've been listening about Bullhorn Betty on Michelle Walker. You're telling me it's you? Yeah, Mom, I'm Bullhorn Betty. Let the games begin.
All right, baby.
All
I
right.
love you. I'm so very proud of you.
All right, Mom.
Have a good night.
All right, love you.
Bye.
Bye. I wonder if I should have asked her if I live with her, because apparently the rumors are that I live at home with my mom. And, you know, this office really could use a cleaning. I mean, I live with my mama. I'm sure this office would be spick and span. Just saying. Just saying. Which reminds me, Mom, when are you going to come over and help me clean my house? Yeah, there's my mama for all you folks. She's been through hell and back with me. And I can tell you she loves this girl right here. I think with hands down, she is very happy with all my accomplishments and the changes I've made in my life. You got to remember, this lady almost lost her daughter that you just heard. Not just once, but a couple times. So I can guarantee you she is one happy lady knowing that I'm on this side of the screen instead of a situation like Gabby Petito. Very close to that. Very close to that. Many people don't know. And, you know, I love you, Mom. Don't know what else to say. I'm sorry for putting you through hell. But the final product is not that bad. Just saying. Not tooting my own horn. Okay, I'm tooting my own horn. They will go to their grave with really what happened and why Brian killed her. Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them changing. I don't see them changing at all. I mean, they are who they are. They are just, in my opinion, disgusting people. So, yeah, my mom went through a lot. And my childhood trauma didn't come from her. She went right. She went along with it with me. So, this is Betty.
Hello, Betty.
Hey.
I'm in Englewood.
Oh, nice.
And I have a question for you, because when I was listening to the trial today, the hearing rather, they were stating that because Brian was not considered a fugitive, that technically the parents weren't really aiding and abetting, correct?
That's correct.
But you know the timeline better than I do, I'm sure. But isn't it true to say that it had already been proven that he was wanted for the credit card fraud, or was that not until after that?
Yeah, that is actually not untrue. They were looking into him for the credit card. They had not arrested him yet. It was still in the investigative standpoint, but still, that was his crime, so to speak, not the parents. So even, in this whole case and everything around this hearing was related to the parents' conduct, not Brian's conduct.
Correct, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
But my question is at that point, I'm thinking, what if he's wanted as a fugitive for credit card theft?
No, he wasn't wanted for a fugitive. They were investigating him.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
They had not.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yep. No, they hadn't issued any warrants for his arrest. They were in an investigate, even with the van, him driving the van back. They were also investigating him on that, but there was no warrants for his arrest. So obviously they couldn't aid and abet somebody that didn't have a warrant for their arrest. So I think that's kind of the little nuance with it. Was there a criminal investigation? Yes. As soon as she was reported missing, there was a criminal investigation into it. And then when he came home and used her credit card, yes, there was another criminal investigation. I'm sure they were getting ready to charge him with that, if nothing else, but they still didn't. So,
because that's what was driving me nuts. I was actually driving in Venice today, and I've never listened to your channel before. I just kind of came across it, and I'm really glad that I did. And I wasn't quite sure, what the timeline was of that. It was kind of bothering me.
So the last time I can tell you, I can tell you exactly. I still remember this like it's the back of my head. So like the August 25th, 2021 was like the last time the parents had spoken to their daughter. They kept calling, by the 27th, apparently is when they believe that she had met her demise, which was right after Mary Piglet. Some altercation happened there. By the 28th, they were calling the parents. He was doing fake texts and stuff like that. And then, of course, he arrived back to Florida without Gabby in Gabby's van on September 1st. And everything's history from there.
Okay, that makes sense. You just filled in the timeline for me. I appreciate it. And good luck with your channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
You got it, girls. Bye. Take care. Be
You
well.
too. Bye-bye. So yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. And the crazy thing is, there's some stuff that I'm vague about, either didn't dive into it, but as far as that timeline, it is ingrained in my brain. I can't get it out. It's one of those things, once you know it and learn it, it's hard to lose it. And this is one of those cases where it's hard to lose. And it's because we pounded the pavement so hard. Everybody saw us out there for 5 minutes every hour on the hour. What they didn't see is the work we were doing those 55 minutes of every hour that we weren't out there in front of on the bullhorns in front of that house. We were beating the pavement. We were driving to stores. We were driving to Dick's Sporting Goods to see if there was any camping equipment. We were going out to Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, talking to anybody and everybody that would talk to us. And as a matter of fact, we came across the gentleman that actually called in the Mustang. He was able to walk us over and tell us exactly where it had been for 2 days. And then we found out that there was as he was leaving one day, there was a lawn crew. We actually ran into that lawn crew. Northport was taking over the lawn maintenance out there. This was their very last cut they were doing out there under their contract. And we just happened to run into them. And they recall that day almost, and they said the only way we remember this day is because we had the worst torrential downpour that we had ever had. It lasted about 2 hours of solid rain before it cut off. But that wasn't the reason why they remember this day so perfectly. They remember this day so perfectly because their tractor got stuck in the back field and had to be towed out. And they remember cutting around the Mustang. And they were able to confirm where the Mustang was, and they actually walked us over there. And there was still the patch that they had, it was getting cut that day, but you could clearly see the grass up higher, and it was the width and the length of the car. And we were able to interview them, and they were able to tell us that information. And believe it or not, law enforcement never interviewed them, never contacted them, never wanted to see what they saw or they heard. They could have been the last people that ever saw Brian Laundrie in that area. And 3 weeks had gone by, or 2 weeks. I think they cut every 2 weeks. So 2 weeks had gone by at this point, and they had never once been contacted by law enforcement to see whether they had even seen Brian Laundrie. We asked them. They didn't see Brian Laundrie. They didn't know of him being out there. They remember the Mustang. So at the time, which they got there about 4:30, 5 o'clock every other week to mow the yard or mow the grounds out there at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. And they didn't see him. So he was already in the area that he was when he met his demise by the time that lawn crew got there. So lots of different interesting stuff. Doug said the cameraman in the blue shirt was the only journalist outside the Laundrie home. He tried to ask the man what news agency he was with, but would not answer. I believe he's with Channel 7. I know the one that he's talking about because I sat and chatted with him. Yes, he was there. There was a few people. I was in there with Mike Ruiz. Mike Ruiz was out there. He's with Fox News. He was out there every day with us. He was sitting right next to me on that bench. That was Mike Ruiz. And actually, I've got a picture of him that I can show you. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. It'll probably be easier for me to pull. Oh, it's on my phone. Here, I'll show you. It's on my phone. I'll just turn the phone around. So there was a few people that had been there for some time. Did I erase them? Of course I did. Erased it all off my phone. Give me just a second. I'll have to plug this up on here and I'll show you a picture. Oops, I do need to go in there. Just give me a second. It's going to pop up something here and then I'll have to take it back. Oops. Oops, wrong one. Okay. there. It always takes a little time to do anything you want to do, especially when you're not prepared. Okay, hearing. There he is. See if I can bring that up. So there he is. He's from Fox News. That was me and Mike Ruiz out there. He was out there every day. And again, he was a valuable part of us finding the location of where Brian was found, the 90-degree turn that Christopher Laundrie took that day that they found the dry bag and his remains. This was the gentleman that was out there with us when we found the water bottle and the bones. Again, that people tried to elude was planted there. He's with Fox News. He was out there with us along with two other officers, a sergeant as well as a deputy, when those discoveries were made. But yet there were many people, including Nerdy Addict, that was not there, tried to lie and, tell us all that we were these horrible people that planted evidence, which was untrue. I mean, you got a reputable person here with a reputable news organization like Fox News and two law enforcement officers, one being a sergeant of the Northport City Police, out there with us when those discoveries were made. Yet we were made out to be the people just lied. I don't know why they insist on lying, but they insist on lying. There's nothing we can do about it. But again, Mike Ruiz right there, Fox News, he was out there with us every single day in front of Brian Laundrie's house. It was funny because we saw a photographer that was out there in front of there, plus the gentleman in the blue shirt. There was a lot of people, even the girls from Channel 8 and Channel 10 and Fox News. Kim Quizon was there today. She was in front of the Laundrie house. She was at Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. She was out there out at I can't even remember the other name. I know I'll think of it at the top, where they moved the search to that 45-minute location. I don't know why I can't think of it. It was just in my head. Carlton Reserve. Give me just a second. I got to get over there. Don't hang up. Bullhorn Betty.
Betty.
Hey.
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Awesome.
I'm calling from. Yes. There's two different things that are on my mind in regards to Brian Laundrie left Gabby out in the wilderness, never to be found. That is so heartless. Just like his parents, apparently. He's been taught, to be able to think like he did, to have a heartless. It was heartless. It was brought up today. The heartlessness of it all. That is the key, the heartlessness and the abuse, the emotional abuse it caused the Petitos to experience. And the second thing on my mind is how Brian Laundrie's parents found Brian so quickly. That to me was so suspicious. Another heartless move.
Under a half hour, 5 weeks of intense manhunt, and within less than 30 minutes, it was all over.
I mean, how did that happen? How did they get by with? We can see through it. It's just unbelievable what they've gotten by with, even morally. I mean, they claim they have the right to be silent, but silence is not always golden, and that's going to be proven in this case. Yeah. I believe justice will be served for the Petitos, and I pray to God that they come to their senses, and I believe they owe the Petitos at least an apology or some kind of recognition.
Absolutely.
But that hasn't happened.
And I gave their defense attorney an opportunity to say something, and he declined to comment. I mean, I even asked him, do you or your clients have anything to say to the Petito family? And he said, not at this time.
Heartlessness. It's all about heartlessness and morals.
Yeah.
And it's a case that I have hope for too. And also I have hope for little Summer that justice will be served.
Yeah, I've been waiting, and that's why I've decided to cover this, is because I have been waiting diligently for the day that they are held accountable for their actions. And, you know, it's sad because I feel like Gabby never got justice. I mean, Brian, that did the most heinous thing to her, went out easy. He went out easy. He didn't have to face the consequences of his action. He does not have to live every day with what he did. The Petito family and the Schmidt family will never have the same life that they had before that man came into it. And then you add insult to injury with those stinking, shitty parents, excuse my language, they're pieces of garbage, you know, and to think that she didn't come out of her house 1 minute, you know, to do anything but let her son be found, and that she wants to prance around the front yard in a black veil and black dress. And it was the most hideous thing I have ever seen, and it irritated me. It irritated me. You couldn't go out and look for your son, didn't know if he was dead or alive, but when you find out he's dead after 30 minutes of you guys searching, they must have been the best search crew I've ever seen. I mean, they could have put an end to this 5 weeks prior to it, but they decided to stay locked up in their home instead.
Yes, the wages of sin is death.
Yeah. But Gabby's never got justice. Her family has never got justice. And I'm praying that this judge, you know, stays within the four corners of the complaint, does not entertain the outside conversations that they had that went outside the four corners of the complaint. And I hope he agrees that the defense did not have enough standing for a motion to dismiss, and denies the motion to dismiss to allow this case to move forward and properly be adjudicated in a court of law.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Call back anytime.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye for now.
So, you know, a lot of people seem to have the same sentiments as all of us, that these parents are rotten. These parents are rotten. This is Betty.
Hello. Hello?
Hi.
Is this Andrew?
It is.
I missed.
You might want to turn the thing down because it's going to lag. It's going to lag when you're online. So you might want to, yeah. So let her turn that down and. Are you there? Well, call back when you can. I don't know. Sorry who that was. It was nice to meet you. Call back whenever you turn me down in the background. Sorry. Did she? I don't know if she accidentally hung up or not. But, you know, again, we're just trying to, you know. So, and you know what? Not only that, but we got a lot of hate if you guys remember, I mean, that's what kind of manifests a lot of the hate I'm dealing with now is from the Gabby Petito case, because people felt we were off base. Here she is. Hopefully she's got the volume turned down. This is Betty.
Hey, Miss Betty.
Okay, I thought that was you. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what I did, but anyway, I missed the whole thing. What happened in court today?
So in court, it was they went in there, as you know, the Petito Schmidt family filed a civil case against the Laundrie parents for emotional duress and infliction of additional emotional pain and things of that nature. And of course, the Laundries filed a motion to dismiss to try to get the case thrown out before it proceeds any further. And, the defense attorney was arguing that they didn't meet the outrageous prong, the outrageous element on that claim, and that their clients had a right to remain silent. And the plaintiff, which is the Petito Schmidt side, argued that they had case law sufficient to justify the outrageous element of their claim, and the fact that the Fifth Amendment is not afforded to people unless there's a criminal case. And at this point, there was no criminal charges. There was no criminal cases, even with them alleging that they were helping their son flee. He was not a fugitive of law. Therefore, it would not have rise to the level of a Fifth Amendment plea because there was no criminal conduct.
Okay, so when will they give the decision on that?
So we should have the decision within the next 2 weeks. Most likely it's going to take them some time to process. I mean, there was a lot of case law that has to be dissected that was raised in both of their motions, both of their, the motion to dismiss plus the answer to the motion to dismiss and the response to that motion to dismiss. There was like 3 or 4 different pleadings that had a lot of case law in it that has to be dissected by the judge in order to properly rule on the motion to dismiss.
Okay. How did Gabby's family, were they okay? I mean,
I thought they held up very, very well. I mean, you could see on their face, you could still see Nicole. Nicole is grief-stricken. She was very strong today, but you can. It's on her face. It's on all of their faces. It was hard to listen to them discussing how she died, some of the case law related to other similar situations, and bringing up, death and bodies and things of that nature. It was tough on me being there. I can't imagine hearing that as a parent of a deceased child. And
so they had to go through the details of how she died.
They did go through them. They talked about how brutal it was, and that she was it was the blunt force trauma and the strangulation. They had to sit there and listen to that. So I can imagine every time they walk into a courthouse over this case, they're having to relive the tragedy of Gabby Petito all over again, each and every time. It's heartbreaking. My heart bleeds for them.
Was the Laundrie parents there?
Of course not.
Okay, well, I don't see how they could not let it go through.
Well, they did have their attorney. Their attorney was present, and he argued the case for them. Their presence there is voluntary on this particular type of motion. They're probably not any court hearing that they're not required to be at. I guarantee they're not going to go.
No, they're not. They haven't showed up for anything else. So
no, they haven't.
But anyway,
except for their vacation to Fort DeSoto, they showed up for that.
Yeah, they made it for that. But anyway, I missed it, and I missed one of your. Caught your live before you went in. Yeah. But then I missed it after that, so I just wanted to check and see from you instead of.
I thought, in my personal opinion, I thought both of the attorneys argued the case that they had the best that they could. I just personally think that the Petito's attorney hit the home run in the end, when he, argued the outrageousness element that was being raised by the defense. And I think he hit a home run because he brought in some case law that, really lowered that bar of outrageousness, where the defense attorney's trying to make it, this huge thing. But when you look at certain case law, especially in the second DCA, and people don't know what the DCA is, district court, district appellate. So it's the district, something. It's the appellate court. It's the appellate court for the district of that. So ours is the second DCA, the second district court of appeals. District Court of Appeals. So that's what we're in. This particular area is in the second District Court of Appeals, and those are where those case law stuff is derived from. And so they had enough to show that it doesn't need to be this huge mountain. It is a molehill when it comes to outrageousness. And they definitely met that definition and exceeded that definition in their conduct. And I think he was able to show that. And I think he argued that well enough that I think he actually overcame that motion to dismiss. But we'll see. It's not set in stone. We still have 2 weeks. I could be totally wrong, and the judge could grant the motion to dismiss, and the Petitos will have to start all over. I don't believe the judge is willing to go as far as doing a motion to dismiss with prejudice, which means they can never bring or allege this statement of claim again. I don't think he's going to go there. That's a very harsh reality, and a lot of judges stay away from that unless it's further along in the case. Then they'll do it with prejudice. But it being this, this case just starting, I just don't see a judge doing that. But again, you never know.
Well, hopefully Gabby's death won't go in vain, like her dad said.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
She will never be in vain, because we'll always talk about her. She is the poster child for domestic violence. A lot of people blamed her because she was almost arrested out there in Utah, and she was the one taking the blame for the conduct that Brian did, so he didn't get in trouble. I am all too familiar with that. And, we actually talked to Moab police because they were doing additional training. And I said, this is a problem. This is what I dealt with in my own life. And I've gone to jail for my abuser, hands down. And, it's sad. And I never want another woman to do that. And I think that's the reason why they didn't arrest anybody, because they just didn't feel comfortable arresting her. And I think that's why they let him go.
Well, I've always had a problem with, didn't it come out that caller that called 911 that saw him slapping her around at that convenience store?
Actually, it was a coffee shop right outside of the Moonflower in Moab, Utah.
Right. So did it not come out that they got that call before they stopped him on the highway?
Yeah, they did get the call that there was something going on, but there was, from what the sheriff or the police department explained to us, is there was at a point they did realize what had happened, but at the time it was happening, there was a communication issue that they cannot explain, and that information was not relayed to those officers at that time.
A little too late for that, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And I just missed it, and I wanted to call and get it from you and see what happened. And did you say they probably would have a decision tomorrow?
No, tomorrow? 2 weeks. They're within 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, and you have a good evening.
You too. You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, we did sit down, and I actually have that interview. Do I have that interview? I have that interview somewhere with the Moab Police Department. And it was funny because the lieutenant that was sitting down to talk to us actually knew who I was and talked to me anyways, and knew I was recording him and talked to me anyways. And Super nice guy. And got a picture with him. He was happy to take a photo with me, and it was really nice. I wish the Grand County Sheriff would have been as accommodating and as nice, Lieutenant Neal in Moab, but he wasn't. He was a pompous ass. And, it's kind of funny that hindsight's 2020, where we went down there and asked him specifically. And it's funny because I talked to Mike Ruiz today. Him and I hadn't seen each other since Gabby Petito. So we sat next to each other and we chatted it up. We had a good conversation. And he said that when Olivia reached out to him and told him about this Adam whatever, somebody said the name correctly on here yesterday or the day before. I can't do it. We're going to call him like the girls at McDonald's called him in Moab, Adam Pincus. That means that Pinko Washik guy. That's him. Okay. So he actually called to get an interview with the Grand County Sheriff and talked to Lieutenant Kim Neal. Sorry, guys, my allergies have been horrible. It's causing me to cough too. And he said that when he brought that name up, it was no comment. He got a no comment. Kind of, we got the crap treatment, but he got the respectable treatment, but with the no comment. So it seems like there was a lot of eyes on Adam. And if there wasn't, there definitely was by the time we left. So I still want to know what is in the hecking notebook. Me too. And that was a lot of people's sentiments. They want to know if the Petitos, I didn't have a chance to ask them. Actually, the only thing I wanted to let them know is I had some items that I thought that they may want from Gabby Petito's memorial. And we'll see if they reach out to me and get them. But I have a ceramic angel. I've got a metal sign that says "We love road trips." And, I would love nothing more than to give them to her parents. This is Betty.
Hi, Betty. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I know that you've been following the Petito case from day one. And I just wanted to know today, the second part of the hearing, I guess it is, what was that actually about?
That was about the estate. That was about Brian Laundrie's estate. And the attorney was not a part of that. I think there's a guardian ad litem there, but they have a claim in it. So unfortunately, it didn't last very long. And by the time because I followed the defense attorney down the stairs and out to get to hear his press, what his press briefing was. And by the time I got back up, the Petitos, as you've seen, were already walking out the door. I was heading back up. I had just got through security and their whole team. So I had to just tell them, I'm really sorry that you guys are going through all that you're going through. And I had to get in front of them so I could record their attorney's portion of that press conference. And didn't get much time to talk to them except when they were leaving. And of course, they had to be hurting from it. So I didn't really want to pelt them with a bunch of stuff, but I did tell them I had those things. If they would love them, I'd love nothing more than to give it to them because, I'd rather them have a little piece of what the community did for their daughter if they so want it.
Yeah, we supported Gabby from day one. Yeah. We knew what happened was foul. I mean, God, what happened after was even more foul. All this.
Like I said, I think the Laundrie family should write the $100,000 check, quit fighting it. Just give it to them and stop the bleeding, stop their pain. You guys have done enough. Just write the damn check. Just write the damn check and be done with it.
I mean, how do you walk home? How do you come like his son walks in the door without his other half and nobody decides to say, hey, where's Gabby?
Because it's all bull crap. Even when that's the one thing I never believed with Cassie. When we got her to speak outside, we're like, did anybody bring up, hey, where's Gabby? And she's like, oh no, we didn't talk about her. And I'm thinking, that seems like it would be a normal run-of-the-mill conversation with the family. Oh, you're back, brother. Is Gabby home sleeping? Is she rested? Is she just tired? Where's Gabby? I'd love to see her. How was the trip? So it tells me that
I was like, how didn't somebody call 911 on this girl and her family?
And so it just made me know that they knew something was going on because that's when you knew, don't ask about Gabby.
And
Yeah.
it was perfect when the attorney said today that they could have made an anonymous call and it could have been
Absolutely.
all over.
Absolutely.
And I was like, he made some awesome, valid points. And I was watching it and I was like, go, just keep going. Just keep arguing your case, keep going.
I thought their attorney hit it out of the park. I really did. I think both of the attorneys were very respectable. I think they both argued the best that they could. I just personally, in my personal belief, just believe that, the Petito Schmidt attorney just kind of took that ball, ran with it. I think he's the one that scored the touchdown, in my opinion. We'll see what the judge determines in a couple weeks.
Yes. And one last thing, and I'll let you go because I don't want to keep you too long. Do you know who has Gabby's belongings still? Who has her property?
I've never asked that. I don't know. Her cousin that we used to communicate with, we no longer, at least I personally have not spoken with her. I don't know. I have never had an opportunity to ask, whatever happened to the van, whatever happened to her belongings over at the Laundrie house. To be honest with you, I just don't know. I never asked and never had an opportunity to ask, and I don't like to speculate on that without at least a little information.
But I find it suspect that nobody knows.
Yeah. So maybe that'll
Thank
be
you so
something
much,
I'll find out in, maybe in the next case or two, the next time I go up there. I mean, they've seen my face plastered all over the news when we were fighting for Gabby, even though I didn't know them personally. They saw me there today. I'm pretty sure they put 2 and 2 together when I walked up to them and let them know I was out there fighting for their daughter. And I'm really sorry that they're all going through this. I think they may have at this point put 2 and 2 together, that I'm Bullhorn Betty and I'm the original protester in front of the dirty laundry home. But if they haven't, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, it was perfect what you said to the family. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
For all of the wonderful work you do, not only for Gabby but for all kids.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was one of the hardest. People don't realize how hard we worked out there in front of the house. It wasn't just for attention. It was making sure that media didn't leave, that her face was plastered all over the world, that, her case didn't go cold. Brian didn't get away with it. We were upset that Brian eluded police, even though he was not under a criminal charge or, had arrest warrant or anything. He was still under an investigation and he was still being watched by law enforcement, and they let him slip away. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. And the goal of these parents, it'll come back. It'll come back around. God's watching.
That's
all I can say.
Thank you. God bless you too.
Thank you, Betty.
Uh-huh.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye. So lots of love for Gabby Petito, the Schmidt family, the Petito family. Lots of love coming from the Bullhorn Betty channel here. We just want to wrap them with prayers. We want to just, think of what they lost. They lost this beautiful girl that had the whole world ahead of her. And with her beautiful spirit and heart, she was going to be something someday. She was going to be an amazing woman with amazing dreams that she would have accomplished, no doubtedly. And that was all snuffed away because she chose to be with the wrong guy and chose not to tell anybody what was truly going on in her life. And this is where I always say, if you're in an abusive relationship, don't sweep it under the rug. Things can go really bad. It can go from, just pushing and shoving to really, really bad, really quickly. And it's progressive. At first it starts off with, they love you so much, right? They love you so much. They want to make sure they know where you're at all the time. They love you so much. They don't want you having the wrong friends, so you can't have any friends. They love you so much that who are you talking to? Where are you going? They love you so much that I did it for your own good. They love you so much that now if you talk back to them, now you're getting slapped. They love, and they're sorry about that. Never do it again. And next comes the roses. Next comes you leaving them to go stay with a friend because you just can't take it no more. And they promise they'll never do it again. And you come back to them. And within the first time you guys have, they want to talk about all the problems instead of just leaving them in the past. And as soon as you say the wrong thing, you get your butt whooped again. And then it's the cycle goes on. If you tell anybody, I'll just kill myself is what they say to you. So you don't tell anybody. Then it comes to, I'll never do it again. Here's this expensive item. And then it happens again. And then it happens again. By this time, your head's so diluted. You love this person so much, but you don't really love who they are. You love who they were, who you thought they were. And now you're so diluted in your brain, you have almost this Stockholm syndrome that it's not their fault. And you can save them. You can help them. You can do whatever until the next fight comes. And then it's 10 times worse. Now it's no longer slapping or pushing. It's punching. It's making sure that they punch you in places that the bruises are hidden. People have no idea the progression of abuse or battered wife syndrome. Nobody really understands that, right? It's when you just have enough, when you've just had enough. I have PTSD from the stuff. If somebody steps my way in a violent way, I'm not going to allow somebody to hit me. I'm going to hit first. If that takes me to jail, it takes me to jail. But that's my PTSD from the life I lived. No matter what these other YouTubers try to proclaim who I am, I know this. I lived this. So. What comment are you saying don't delete? Anissa? Why were you... Joe, the reason why I was in the court is one is I could be there. I am press. I spent more time out there in front of this case fighting for justice for Gabby. You don't think I deserve to be there? You're questioning why I went to court to support justice for Gabby Petito? My question is, why weren't you there? That's my question. Why weren't you there? Why haven't you done anything? And I'm calling you out because you don't mind calling me out. So if you don't want to be talked to like this, don't talk to me like that, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And my question is, what have you ever done in your own community? You're going to say, oh, well, I don't live there. Okay. Well, if you did, would you be there? Would you be supporting that baby? Would you? Probably not. When you start getting off and start doing something for your community instead of staying behind a keyboard and criticizing the people that do, then I'll have some respect for you. Then I won't talk to you like this. But it seems like you got a bone to pick. Next time, tone it down just a little bit if you don't want me talking to you like this, because I don't like the way you're talking to me. Just saying. I have every right to be there. There is nobody outside of Jonathan Lee Riches that has fought for Gabby Petito more than me. He would have been there too. Unfortunately, he's homesick. You know? And Joe, you're more than welcome. People are saying, call in. You're more than welcome to call in. Tell me about myself and how horrible I am for going and supporting the Petito and Schmidt family. Tell me how I don't have a right to do my job and do my job well. Right? How insane would it be for me to fight so long for justice for Gabby, and when justice is finally coming for Gabby, I'm not there? PDX, I will tell you this one time and one time only. That name is not allowed to be brought in this chat. You will be warned one time. You bring her name up again, you will be timed out. You bring it up the third time, you will be blocked. You are not ever allowed to come in here and bring that name up here in my, and you know what? Have her apply that same standard because she can't, because she lives in conjecture. And not only that, what she showed you is not even the full picture. Again, it's only a portion of the picture. So next time you come in here and you bring that name up, you better bring your damn receipts. As a matter of fact, mods, if you want to block that person, you can. I really don't care. I've given enough warning. That name is never to be brought up in this chat again. You don't know what you're talking about. I can tell you, you've never lived my life. You don't know what I've ever went through. You don't know where I've been. And there is no way in hell that one chick looks up a past. You know, it's funny. She only looks up me as the defendant. What about me as the plaintiff? She's never once looked that up because you can't, because I was the freaking victim, you dumbass. Get your shit together. Don't ever come on this channel again. Telling me. Acts like they know me or my life. You know more than my mother. Okay. Like, who believes that? Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. I was there every day in 100-degree weather, sunburned. Like I've got little spots on my face that are most likely skin cancer, and it was from being out there for so many hours, and I didn't wear sunscreen. I forgot. I didn't expect it to do that to me, but when I went to the dermatologist, they think it's the start of, you know, it only needs to be cauterized. Nothing. It's like basils. Nothing too serious. But they told me if it starts getting bigger, I need to come in. Great. You're more than welcome to do what you choose to do for yourself. Pretty simple. I choose to do what I choose to do for myself, right? I don't let other people dictate what I do. And that's the problem. Why are you so invested in my conduct when you're not living my life? Just saying. I'm not that invested in your conduct. I don't go and stalk and try to find out what you're doing. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't. Honestly, I don't. I'm not in anybody's life all that much, unless they're my cases that I'm covering, and then I'm all up in that Kool-Aid. But that's my job. Yeah, if you care, I think that's the sentiments. If you care, why ask? Yeah, because people don't know how to. You know, they see people having intelligent conversations, and they got to go to the gutter. They got to try to drag people to the gutter. Welcome to YouTube. That's all I got to say. You got to keep laser focused. And when we start drifting, we got to correct it and get it back on the road. Idiots, as always. Oh! It's time for that video, isn't it? It's just that time for that video. Let's do the video.
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here. Look what I found. It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here. Right here. This is a real ass right here. Like many people on YouTube. All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right? Right? Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube. Say it. Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people. Too many people on YouTube that look like you, huh? So the next time you want to be an ass, maybe you should come out here and hang out with the ass. Just saying. You want to be a jackass? There's your brother. Peace out. Bullhorn Betty style.
Just saying. Just saying. It is cocked and ready to go. Every time we go live, I have uploaded it to the system. It's only a trigger, a finger click away. It's only a finger click away. But I love YouTube, right? We love YouTube. We come here, we spend time, we argue, we fight. We love it. Sometimes we get the drama. Sometimes we get the real. You know? Sometimes we get the dance music. Right? We love it. We love all the ups and downs that YouTube provides to us, whether we admit it or not. Like, I seriously would love to have Kumbaya YouTube, where everybody just gets along. Why can't we just all get along? Why can't we mind our own business and stay in our own lanes? Quit being so damn hateful to everybody. Quit trying to destroy people's lives. Why can't we do that? You know why? Because we got too many asses on YouTube. We got too many donkeys. Just too many. So I got that other video uploaded. Let me go ahead and I'm going to play it again. We have more people in the chat room than we did before. I've modified the volume. I'm hoping that it helps. Now, if I'm extra loud in this segment on this video, I can't help it. It's either turn up the volume so you can hear them and hear me screaming, or you're going to hear me talk normal and you can barely hear them. Take your pick. I got them both up here. I'm ready to put both of them up there so if people don't like hearing me loud, they can hear me soft and hear everybody and barely hear anybody else. And I got the other one that's got me normal in half of it, but at the end you hear me almost screaming because I had to jack the volume up so you could hear the guy talking. Can't win. Just can't win. But we'll watch it again. Just so, let me pull this up. We'll watch it again just so everybody can hear it because people were struggling to hear. So let's just watch it again. Hopefully you guys can hear.
So the Petito and Schmidt family just arrived here. So we're going to.
This was at the beginning.
Pray that this is.
I'm trying to get up the steps so I can get them walking in the courtroom. See? And there's Mike Ruiz, Fox News, right there, over there in the corner, hiding. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Appreciate your love and support, baby. There's the other news reporter right there that was out there with us. I think his name's Dennis or something. I can't remember. I don't know who Doug is. Never met him.
I'm going to step around here. I don't know if this phone will get done.
Sorry, it's up loud because I had to fix the volume. So if I'm super loud, I apologize.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Well, then he knew who I was. I don't know who he is.
He doesn't pull it over. Hold on.
Do you want to ask me a question, or do you just want me to make a statement?
I'm sure we have a question.
If you
I'm not
wanted-
saying I'll answer it, but if you want me to make a statement.
If you want to do a statement,
Sure.
and then we can ask questions.
Okay, yep, absolutely. Sure. It's Matt, M-A-T-T, Luca, L-U-K-A. Yes. For the Laundries.
How are they holding up?
Fine as far as I can tell, although I know that this is a difficult time for everybody, both families.
How do you think the proceedings went today?
I thought they went as expected. We definitely appreciate the judge's time and his consideration of this case. I know it's important to both families, and so we really appreciate his effort. And we just look forward to getting his ruling.
Why were your clients not present?
It's typical in a motion to dismiss for clients not to appear.
Were they watching online?
I don't know.
Do they have anything to say to the Petito family?
Not at this time.
And when did the judge say he was going to rule?
He didn't give us a specific date, so I really couldn't tell you one way or the other.
How do you think he's going to rule?
Hopefully he rules in our favor, but it's hard to tell.
How do you think the hearing went?
I thought it went fine. The judge was certainly very courteous, and he asked good questions. So like I said, we really appreciate his consideration and his time given to all of us.
And Joe, no, I did not call you that.
Well, I really feel like our strongest argument relates to the outrageous element and also the invocation of legal rights by the defendants for why they didn't make any statements during that time. Their First Amendment right, which allows them to speak freely or to not speak at all. The Fifth Amendment privilege, which allows them to not speak in any situation that could potentially incriminate them. There's also a First Amendment right to have an attorney, a Sixth Amendment right to an attorney. The Florida Constitution also affords those same rights. In addition, an express right to privacy, which is also implicated. So there are multiple rights at play here.
So the plaintiffs.
I'd really rather not comment on that.
So the plaintiffs allege that there was no crime committed at the time to invoke a Fifth Amendment right. How do you feel about that?
We disagree with that. A person's entitled to invoke their Fifth Amendment privilege anytime they feel like they're in jeopardy. And so that's our position.
All right, thank you.
That as an agent of the Laundrie, that statement should be imputed to them for purposes of considering whether or not their conduct was outrageous. We disagree with that position for many reasons that we argued at the hearing. So that's really what that's about. Even though the Laundrie didn't make that statement first. So we'll just await the judge's ruling, and hopefully it's in our favor, and the case will be dismissed.
So you're saying this is definitely frivolous?
Well, we do believe that there's no basis in the law for this cause of action. So we don't feel like it should go any further than this point. All right, thank you all. Yeah.
Just got checked back in. So I just want to let Joe know that wasn't that video wasn't for you. It was for the comment of one of the people that brought somebody that's not allowed to be brought up in this chat. It was for them, and it was for their comment. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. I don't mind having opposition or anything like that. So it had nothing to do with you. It had to do with another commentator, that PDX 852 or whatever their name was. That was in here, that was directed at them, and of course, some of the trolls that watch this channel. So just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Guys, I just want to tell you that, I was out there for your daughter, and I'm really sorry that all this has happened to you guys. I really am.
And that's me having to run out to get in front of them before they walk out. Hopefully we can hear their attorney better with this volume adjustment. I'm going to be louder, folks, because I increased the volume. Let's cross fingers so we can hear them.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of
Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt. We just want to express our thank you to Judge Carroll for the time he gave us today on the motion. We appreciate the time he's going to take to make the decision. We have no doubt that he will make the correct decision. The family will not be taking any questions, but I'll do my best to answer a few questions.
How do you think the court hearing went today?
I was very satisfied and pleased with the question the judge asked, in particular about the statement that Mr. Bertolino made on behalf of the Laundrie family, because that says a lot. The fact that they knew she was deceased, they knew where her body was located, and they had the audacity to express the hope that she would be reunited with her. As I can tell, they're dealing as best they can. There were some tears earlier today. I expect there might be some more tears.
So he said that he thought that they did well today, but as we saw, there were tears. And I knew that because I didn't see the tears, but I knew there had to be some there because they talked about some pretty touchy stuff that they had to listen to. And he's saying that, this is not the last of their tears either, because every time they walk into this courthouse and they hear these things, I have to imagine that they're reliving that day over and over and over again. It's horrific and it's sad. She's pointing to the ashes she has of Gabby around her neck.
Sorry? It's Max Bird. It's a drawing or a piece of art that someone from Australia, I believe, created utilizing a picture of Gabby. And on the back, there's a prayer to Jim.
The defense alleged that they had a Fifth Amendment right, even though there was no criminal allegations. How do you feel about that? I heard you arguing about that in the motion to dismiss.
There has to be an investigation or a crime before the Fifth Amendment right applies. And I don't know, and I'm waiting for the day for the Laundrie to tell us what crimes they committed. Hopefully they'll do that someday, but I don't know what crimes they are asserting were committed. He did allege that they were trying to move some money around and get Brian out of the country, but there was no arrest warrant out for Brian. He wasn't a fugitive. From a criminal law perspective, I don't think that there was anything inappropriate about what they were doing at that point. I think for the Petito family it was a relief, but I would like to have them be in the courtroom and face the people that they caused harm.
So he's even stating here that he was quite shocked that the Laundrie parents were not there, and he feels that his clients should be able to face the people that did this to them and their family, and they were not afforded that opportunity at this juncture in the court proceedings.
Well, as I said, I like the questions. The judge was asking opposing counsel about the statement Mr. Bertolino made. If someone doesn't find his statements, knowing all the facts that were known to the Laundries at that time, if somebody doesn't find that offensive and outrageous, I don't know what's outrageous. No, judges typically take cases under advisement when there's a lot of research and a lot of cases cited, so I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm surprised it's only 2 weeks. All right, thank you, everyone.
Oh, and there it goes again. Did I get that in the video? Oh my goodness, I probably have to go fix the video. Sorry, Anissa. Thank God I covered up the addresses. That looks like it's part of the freaking video. And I must have added, I added way too much stuff to this. I may have to fix it again. That's what happens when you rush and you're trying to do stuff together, and it just trying to rush. It never works for me when I try to rush to get something out, because here it's been 2 hours. I've uploaded 2 videos and I've got to edit it again and fix the ending because I screwed up the ending and put content in there that shouldn't shouldn't be there. Ay, ay, ay. Help me. Help me, help me. Anyways, guys, it was amazing to see you guys. I'm going to leave the phone lines open just for another 2 minutes. If you guys have anything you want to get off your chest about this case, you have any comments to make at all, you have a thought about it, come up and let me know what your thoughts are. If not, then we're going to go ahead and power this down. It's been 2.5 hours. I've worked. I did a live this morning. I've been running all day. I've been covering the Gabby Petito case. I've been sitting out there in the hot sun. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And quite frankly, I am exhausted. And my head is pounding like this. I don't know what's causing my head to pound, but I have a headache like you would not believe. I think it's from the sun. Sometimes because my light eyes, I'm very sensitive to the sun. And I was out there in the sun. I think that's what did it. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. Hey, Pink Butterfly.
Hey, Pink Butterfly. How are you?
I've been better. This cancer is really kicking my butt.
Yeah.
But remember, I'm the one that sent you that picture of you in Ohio with Donald Jr.
Ah, yes.
It was so weird. I had walked into a convenient with our little gas station thing, and the blade was there. And I looked again. And I was like, I know that face. I was like, oh my God, that's her. And so I took a picture of it to send to you.
Yeah.
But anyway, today I did not watch all of I had to go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get to watch all of it, but I get to see the Petito's attorney. And what I really didn't, like I said, I didn't get to see all of his things, but really bothered me that I didn't felt like he was driving home the things that we knew. Like, they didn't tell us or tell the Petitos that, well, he's home and he has her van. I don't know where she's at. Do you come get her van? Come get her stuff? He just kept talking about all these other cases. It's like, I get his point in a way, but...
Well, the reason why, just to clarify that, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to clarify why that happened is because they were at a motion to dismiss, and there was only 2 major elements that they were arguing, and that was whether they had the rights to invoke the Fifth Amendment and the 4-prong test related to the emotional distress, duress type of argument. And they were arguing only one element of the 4-prong test for that motion to dismiss. Those things that you're talking about will probably come out in their pretrial motions and their pretrial discovery and stuff like that. But they were arguing a motion to dismiss, and they were arguing specific points, either for or against the motion to dismiss only.
Oh, okay. Because I just didn't understand why, so many things that we know, he didn't really seem like he pushed home. Like, why didn't they say, well, her car's here, right. They didn't know for weeks that it was there and things like that. And then how convenient that when the dad took them on the hunt for Brian, didn't he take him clear to the other side of the reservoir or whatever, the reserve? And then, but the day they find him, they go to a different part.
Yeah, because the FBI, what was really weird, and I've said this from the beginning when we were covering the case, when we were out there, that they made a lot of strategical and tactical errors, in my opinion, because you always start from the last point of where you saw them, which would have been the Mustang. And the Mustang was in the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. They went all the way over to the car. They worked there. And then they decided to move the search grid from that area, which was the last point Brian Laundrie was seen. And they chose to move it 45 minutes away and work their way back to the last point that they saw. That was a huge tactical and strategical error on law enforcement's part. And then they tried to backtrack it and say it was because the water was up to their chest in some areas. Yeah, in the canal areas, because Jonathan and I had been in that area every single morning and every single afternoon from September 18th to the day they found him, October 20th. We were out there, and I can tell you, we did experience ankle high to calf high water, deep water in some areas, but not in the areas where he was. And everybody, you have to remember, he didn't swim out to the location where he was at. He walked. So if he could walk out there with all the assets that they had on the ground, from the big mud trucks that I've got photos of, to the ATVs that they had, the swamp buggies, that's what they're called, swamp buggies, to the ATVs that they brought into the Carlton Reserve, they could have put those out in Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. If they took half the assets that they had at Carlton Reserves, he would have been found weeks prior to. But again, this is where, we were out there for Kathleen Moore too in Pasco County. We were expecting to see, birds flying and circling above. We were expecting to see all the telltale signs that we've heard are associated with decomposing animals or people. And we saw none of those signs to direct us to where he was, even though he was out in a field.
Yeah, the water kind of camouflages that, I guess. But yeah, I was just curious why, he kept bringing up those other cases and he didn't push the.
Yeah, because they were trying to establish the plaintiffs were trying to establish two elements, and the defense was trying to disprove two elements. And that was the First Amendment or the Fifth Amendment. And there's a 4-element test that must be administered in order to have a cause of action of an infliction of emotional distress. And he was trying to knock one of the legs off, so they didn't have quite the criteria to meet that infliction of emotional distress.
Okay. Well, I hope that the Laundries get what's coming to them, because this is just, it's been wrong since day one. And I don't know how they sleep at night.
Yeah. I don't either. And I don't understand how they didn't show up for Gabby. They didn't show up for their son. And now they're not even showing up to court. Just no call, no show, dirty laundry.
Yep. Disgusting. And I hope that somehow justice, I hope she's up there and she's giving them the power, because they need it right now. And God love her that she helped, her family wins and gets the closure that they need, even though it's never going to be enough.
They're going to go through this the rest of their lives. And, we may go on with our lives. We may cover other cases, but we will never live what Gabby's parents are going to have to live through till the day they die.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. It's just not fair.
All right, hon. Well, I was just kind of curious. Like I said, I didn't get to see much of it, but the little bit part, I was just like, I'm leaving out so much. And
yeah.
So, all right, hon. You have a great day.
You too. Call back anytime. Bye-bye.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye.
So I'm going to turn the phones off, guys. I want to thank you guys for all coming here. We at least I learned a lot today, and it was just kind of funny, because if you watch my live from this morning, you will hear us discussing the Fifth Amendment. And that was one of the items that I brought up and said that I'm not sure that they can invoke that. That, I don't know. I had no idea that would be one of their arguments today in court, would be that very argument. Because personally, me understanding the law, I could not see how the Fifth Amendment applied here, because you cannot invoke the Fifth Amendment on a civil case. And the only time you can really invoke the Fifth Amendment, the right to remain silent, is in a criminal case, and there was no criminal case. So I wasn't sure. And even if there was a criminal case against their son, there's no child parent privilege in the court of law. So I don't know how that privilege would have, went over to the Laundries unless they themselves were under criminal investigation or criminal indictment, where they had the right to invoke a Fifth Amendment right. And again, it was a conversation we had this morning. And I said, I'm not sure that they do have that privilege. I didn't know it would be a talking point for not only the plaintiff, but the defense side of the case. And, there you have it. We do make sense. We do talk about facts on this show. Of course, you guys know that. The ones that follow me all the time know that. But, we have a lot of hate that tries to say we don't know what we're doing over here. But at the end of the day, I'm praying and hoping that the Laundrie family, that the Laundrie family goes to hell, and that the Petito Schmidt family get justice. Because, again, I don't believe Gabby Petito ever got the justice she so deserves. And we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep showing up, because that's what we do. We don't just, cover a case, and when the case is over, it's over. This case is not over, and neither is the coverage from Bullhorn Betty. So we are going to keep fighting for her. We're going to keep demanding justice until justice has been sought. So with that, folks, I love you. God bless you. Take care of yourself, and keep fighting the good fight as we fight the good fight. Have a great night. And don't forget to be fearless, folks.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.